Hello world, welcome back. I'm Karhu, the Great Bear of the North, and this is Planet Zoo. This is our wonderful reindeer caribou sire, Ilmari, which I'm actually going to rename Stealthy Assassin after, oops, did I change that? Nope, okay. Stealthy Assassin, there we go. Rename that after one of our viewers who correctly said that the reason they are called reindeer is actually of the Old Norse train, which meant deer. So we actually kind of call them deer, which is kind of funny. Although in grade school I was told it's because they're quasi-domesticated and so they pull sleighs by wearing reins, but that's not actually true. Okay, so the plan for today is I'm going to build a massive building right here. This building is going to be based off a building at the CNE, currently holds medieval times, and this building is massive. It's going to be like 94 meters across, 60 meters deep. It's going to be huge. But, you know what? Instead of me just telling you about it, let's just go into it. Time lapse! So, many of you guys may know this, but I'm from the wonderful city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And one of my favorite parts about Toronto every year is the Canadian National Exhibition. Apparently it's the longest running annual fair in North America. I mean, obviously it didn't happen in 2020 and it's not happening in 2021 either, so I don't know if that record still counts, but it's been around for a while. There have been fairs on this lakeshore site since 1853 based on my research, and my research may be wrong, but the site is wonderful. Okay, I'm showing you guys some pictures on the screen right now, but it's right up against the lake, and you know, there's so many different things that you can do here. There's a minor league hockey arena there where the Toronto Marlies play. It actually becomes a racetrack for the Honda, I believe it's the Honda Indy Toronto every year. It's absolutely fantastic. It's where BMO Field is there, where the Toronto Argonauts and my team, Toronto FC, play. But its biggest claim to fame is it's being the site of the Canadian National Exhibition, and the building that I'm building right now is on that site, and it was originally built a very, very long time ago, this particular building. And all the buildings on the site, most of them actually were designed by architect G.W. Gwenlock from about 1903 till about 1912. So all of these buildings are more than a century old, and they're all in like the Beaux-Arts style, like a combination of Beaux-Arts and neoclassical, and it's just this is what museums should look like to me. This is what exhibits, this is what World's Fairs, this is what the Chicago World's Fair was in, this is what the I believe it was up in San Francisco, that World's Fair as well was in. This is just a beautiful style. And this particular building that I'm not recreating, but I'm very much inspired by, it's called the Government Building. It was originally called the Arts, Crafts and Hobbies Building. And it was built in 1912, and it currently houses medieval times, which my grandmother took me for my birthday way back in the mid-90s, because I love all that fantasy stuff, and I didn't realize that the competitions between the knights were actually scripted, so I totally thought that these guys were actually fighting on horseback, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and it became medieval times in the mid-90s because the government of Ontario and the government of Toronto actually wanted they wanted to make a little bit more money during the year. So it's unfortunate that it's now medieval times. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love medieval times, but it's such a beautiful building. During World War I, it was actually used as a barracks for Canadian soldiers. So this particular building has a lot of history. And one of the reasons I really like this building is because of its combination of the brickwork and the columns and the domes, and it's just very symmetrical. It's just one of those buildings that's just, you look at it and it's just satisfying. And as you can see now, I'm just building up I've forgotten the term. I studied architectural history for years. just some trims, not cornices, just in order to kind of make it a little bit more neoclassical. And just what I'm thinking is just the sheer scale of this building. This will kind of be, I don't want to use the W word from Silverette, but this is the focal point of the front section of the park. The idea is that this was a museum or an estate or an exhibition building, something like that, that has since been converted into a zoo facility. So it's not going to be custom designed for animals with their habitats in mind, but rather it's going to be retrofitted with that. And one of the things that I really like in buildings, not just this building, but buildings in general, is the entrance. It kind of sets the tone for the building. Ideally it will draw you in. It will welcome you. It will embrace you. And so for this particular building and the original in Toronto, it has this lovely, like, semicircular, not really, it's not a dome, but it's a platform that kind of goes over it, almost like you know those old Victorian houses that have like a covered area in front of the front door, so that when you get out of your carriage, if it's raining or whatever, you don't get wet. It has kind of one of those buildings. That's what I'm building now. And I really wish it were easier to draw curves in with custom pieces in Planet Zoo or even Planet Coaster, because this fiddling, it took me a really long time to do, and I'm still not really satisfied with the effort. It's kind of flat at the front, and it just kind of sits there. It's not particularly satisfying, but it is what it is. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of where we're going to be going throughout the rest of this park, this is, like I said, this is going to be the central part, the main draw from the road. This is, I believe it ended up being 12 meters tall, which is like a 4-story building, plus the towers, plus what will eventually be a glass dome over the top of it. So this is something that you will see from quite a far ways away. It will eventually be raised on a hill. So overall, it definitely commands the center area. It's almost like this is the end of the front central plaza, which once we move the reindeer, the caribou, to their temporary taiga, to their permanent taiga habitat, which is going to be like, it's going to look like a marsh or a bog or a fen or something like that. It's going to be really cool. And then we're going to have the grizzly bears moved off to their permanent enclosure, which is going to be like a mountain stream. When I said I have big plans for this in some of the comments, I meant I have big plans for this. But this is this is the icon. This is the Cinderella's castle of this zoo. Okay, fine, I'll say it. This is the weenie of this zoo. No matter where you are, if you're back in the wilderness of the zoo, you can always find your way back to the front by looking for these towers, which even through trees, hopefully you will still be able to see. I might even raise them a little bit. And this is what I was talking about the neoclassical elements. Like, we don't have, I mean, yeah, like, we've got the columns, we've got the friezes, we've got the cornices, but it's not straight up a classical building. It's classical elements on a very non-classical layout. And neoclassical is amazing. The British Museum is neoclassical. It's just beautiful. I just put a lion over the front entrance. I just want to... What do you guys think? Is that good, or is that a little bit hokey? Leave a message in the comment section below, because I like it, but I don't know how everybody necessarily feels about it. And the copper roof, the building in Toronto, the government building, the medieval times building, has I think it's a slate roof or a brick roof. It doesn't have the copper, but I just love the copper, the way it bounces off the kind of lighter red of the brick, then the white and gray of the limestone elements. It's just, this is what, you know, knowledge and the good parts, the idealism of the Enlightenment. That's what all of this speaks out to me. So okay, so this is the raw shell of the building, and I know some of the measurements are slightly off. I think the side is actually slightly like 1 meter wider than the rest, but it is what it is. So this is the shell of the building so far. It's Beaux-Arts inspired. It's really nice. I like it. And here's what the plan is going to be. It's got 3 sections. This center section is going to, I should probably get rid of a lot of the excess roofing. There we go. I should probably also fill in this gap. Anyways, this intersection is going to be like staff rooms and these kinds of things, because this is going to be a walk-through habitat for a lemur, something like that. I haven't really decided. This side is going to be a restaurant, which is then going to have windows that overlook another exhibit that is out here. This is not the final position. It is going to be centered along this axis, and then there's going to be like some entrances and pathways along this way, and it's going to be glass, and it's going to be beautiful, and it might replace some of this copper roofing with some skylights in order to let some light in, or it might add in, or it might extend the clerestory instead of just this area. Extend it over the rest. But I'm really happy with this so far. I like the pale brick. I like the copper roofs. I like this. And now I try to build a dome. Which, let me put it this way. If you're learning how to build a rounded dome in a game like Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, I strongly recommend you don't do this on camera, where everybody can see every little mistake you make, and that you're very much learning as you go along. But like I repeat almost the exact same steps like 5 times, just with slightly different things, just because I didn't do it properly the first time. But now I know, and if there are any other domes, and hint, there will be other domes. If there are other domes, hopefully that process will be a lot faster. I could have just left it like this, with like the overlapping bits kind of sticking out. But I don't really like that. I'm kind of if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right, and at least that's what I'm trying to be more of. I haven't always been like that, but I'm trying to be more of that today. So I'm doing this right and doing it properly. And, you know, even removing all of the additional pieces that were made redundant by the dome. You know, it's just one of those little things. I hope to eventually put the finished building on the workshop, so you guys can hopefully enjoy it as well. But it is not finished. Even by the end of this episode, spoiler alert, it's not finished. Just because it already took me like 4 hours, and I'm done with this for now. I want to get on to, you know, putting in the animals and the terraforming and those kinds of things before we get back to this. But yeah, it's fiddling around with this brickwork that took me a very, very long time. It occurred to me when I'd already done this like 4 times what the actual solution was, rather than being finicky and moving around with all this, is just, you know, line them up, rotate them around, and then build the brickwork up like this, like I'm attempting to do, and then just delete it from the one. But yeah, that's Planet Coaster. That's Planet Zoo. Oh, and Planet Coaster as well for you. But when I say that I'm going to be building everything by scratch, I mean this. I easily could have taken a dome, and there are many, many, many wonderful domes on on the Steam Workshop, but this is actually kind of satisfying. 2.5 hours just for this one dome, but it's my dome, for better or worse. And there's something really good. There's a really good feeling that's associated with that. But as you can hear, my voice is kind of going, and I've got 5 hours of drama workshops to do tomorrow. So I'm gonna call this recording done, and you guys can just enjoy some lovely background music, and catch you next time. Oh boy, that's been a lot of building. That's like 4 hours. I'm very, very new to this system. But yeah, this is what I've got. I'm actually quite proud of this. Quite proud of this. This is... yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of detailing on the walls. I've got to finish off these little tower things. I've got to do the entire interior, but I think that's going to be a later day. Yeah, this side is definitely going to be a walkthrough habitat kind of a thing, hopefully for lemurs, both kinds of lemurs, one of which is endangered, which I think would be kind of cool. This central area is going to have some staff buildings. Oh, and the lemur habitat is also going to go out here. It's going to be an indoor-outdoor thing. And then the staff people will have quick access to that. And then over here, we're going to have possibly a restaurant, something like this, which would then overlook another habitat that goes out here. But this is what we're looking at. I know there was a lot of time lapse today, but hopefully I did give you some, historical tidbits about this particular building, about the scene in general, and the architect that built them. So when he said that these are temporary and ugly and not indicative of what I'm capable of, I hope this shows to you that I meant what I said. Definitely going to do a lot of terraforming off camera. Hopefully next time we can get the lemur habitats in, maybe some pathing, maybe some landscaping. Actually, that sounds really, really good. Let's do that, and then an episode after that will be the restaurant. But for now, I'm extremely pleased with this. I'm so very pleased with this. It took me a lot of time to figure out the dome angles and how all that will work, but I think we're pretty good. I think we are pretty good. So, yeah, I think this frames it fairly nicely, eh? Who is this? Please tell me this is... This is indeed Stealthy Assassin! Oh, we started with Stealthy Assassin, we end with Stealthy Assassin, so, it's Stealthy. Thanks for answering that trivia question, and, work in progress. But if you like what you see, please like, please subscribe, please comment. Follow me not on Twitch, not on Twitter, I'm not in either of those. Follow me here on YouTube. But most importantly, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time in Planet Zoo. Bye, guys.